Hi there. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We've been dealing with some shenanigans here in Windibank's Pawn Brokery. And I get the feeling more shenanigans are about to become afoot, if you will. Because our old boy, Sholmes, has another deduction that he would like to share with the rest of the class. So yeah. I think we should hear him out, see what he has to say, because, frankly, I don't think I'll be able to resolve this dilemma on my own. I am a passive little bitch boy, after all. Well, Mr. Straight, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament. Tisk! What a blue blaze have you been, eh? Bro, you would have told him to piss off. Pardon? When a lady's in trouble... Oh, jeez. Poor Sholmes. When a lady's in trouble, a shooter is supposed to be there to help. Straight away. Not an hour later. Harsh. And who, pray tell, are you? Mr. Egget Benedict. You have, in my eyes, a veritably encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. Sorry, I'm gonna have to give me a minute to get my voices in order. I beg your pardon? The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation, one you will orchestrate with intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deductions? How? He's turned as white as a hard-boiled egg. Wait, that was called Eggert? Because he wears white? Like an egg? I mean, I guess. It would seem that once again, Mr. Sholmes has made a flawless deduction. Just who do you think you are, sir? Ah, yes, as I hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I was looking for. Yeah, this just in. Sholmes enjoys seeing pain in others. Shall we begin? The time has come for yet another Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Alright, let's do this shit. The game is motherfucking afoot, as it were. Mystery Man's Aim. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured to this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. Hey, what's that you got in your hand there? Well, I'm pretty sure you didn't have before. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to the shop in the first place is a staff recruitment flyer. Wait, what? The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement from this very shop. Yet even the most unobservant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need of such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. Good. The cane which you unwittingly clutch to your person exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. Well, utter rot. I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak, of course, the missing fuel. I don't know what a fuel. What? The end of any walking cane would be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet, detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of the stick to be utterly bare. No, I don't think you need your goggles for that one, pal, because it's kind of self-evident, you know? Therefore, there is only one conclusion. The rod that you hold in your hand, what appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all. Good. You recoil, sir? Is something wrong? And, in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is a key to understanding this riddle, you see. The moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle, mused I. Oh, but of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that's a rod. It's a broken handle of a shovel. Wow, really? Are you sure about that one, Sholmes? I mean, it might be, but I don't know, man. Also, we kept calling it a rod? What? Are you insane? And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment at this establishment in order to expurgate the ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you have conceived, sir. A wickedly calculated crime. To tunnel underneath the pawnbrokery. Huh. I mean, it's not the wildest shit you proposed, Sholmes, my good man. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggested that I, a gentleman, intend to expurgate the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel? What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? No. Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose. Save for such a fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say? Oh, but there is ample reason. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. And your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this and covertly dig beneath its floor. The answer is revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. This letter gives notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. And, according to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewerage works, beneath the shop runs a sewer that adjoins another, one that runs under the bank on the opposite side of the road. This madness is into the sewers now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway that flows in very close proximity to the great vault of the financial institution opposite. What are you? In summary, sir, you devised a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by dint of the underground tunnels. Master plan? Jeez, nice dance moves you got there, pal. I mean, I said that before, but still, I appreciate them. Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault of the bank? Are you quite serious? Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. Ah, but naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know. A postcard of the postcard of the Great Exhibition? I'm afraid you quite lost me. Currently, in the final stages of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway. And the government has provided extra funds to complete its centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that currently sit in the vault of the bank on the other side of this road. Pardon? Yes, the considerable crime you have been contemplating is the theft of that which sits in the vault of that bank. The special reserve funds for the Great Exhibition. Of course, that is top secret police information. So, keep it under your hat, please. So, he wanted to dig under the pawnbrokery so that he could go through the waterways to the bank next door and steal the Great Exhibition money. I mean, again, honestly, compared to some of the other stuff you said before, that's relatively reasonable, but somehow I feel like that's not quite the truth. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this pawnbroking puzzle. Mr. Sholmes? Haha. Well, listener Hodo, an impressively upbeat deduction for a detective racked with loneliness. Would you not agree? I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's good that you're able to keep your spirits up after being so sad earlier, but, yeah. Was it true what you said about the bank over the road and what it has in its vault? Indeed. The few know of its existence. It's one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. And you just told us everything. You told... yeah, okay. Gregson told me in the strictest confidence. Yeah, exactly. You just told everyone in this pawn shop about it. What the fuck, dude? Come on. In fact, I mean, even if old Eggy Boy didn't, in fact, know about it, now he knows about he knows about it now. So, not sure if that was very helpful. And if it's such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it? Yeah, there's that too, because, like, I mean, he looks like a well-to-do English gentleman, but as far as I know, he's not like a policeman or a government worker. There can be but one explanation for that. Clearly, it is because the man is a criminal. I mean, yeah, but just being a criminal doesn't mean you know everything there is to know about everything. But what if he didn't know about anything about the money in the vault? If he's a criminal, as you said, then buying a brand new shovel is sure to be the first thing he does, now that you revealed the secret. Yeah, exactly! Well, that's what I said, like, if he didn't know about it before, he's gonna do it now. Not sure if that... I feel like he might have fucking self-reported, Sherlock, my boy. Oh. Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Winterbank will. He already has plenty of shovels here, after all. Oh, my life! I assure you I'm not so unscrupulous. Well, hopefully this has taught you a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care. Okay, well, maybe you should fucking learn that lesson yourself, my dude. One can be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them. And once the word is out, it's out. Perhaps I'll think twice. Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding in you next time, Mr. Sholmes. Yeah, I get the feeling you're not the type to keep secrets very well. An excellent idea, Mr. Naruhodo. An excellent idea. Well, at least you're in good spirits. At least you're in good spirits, man. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, you know what to do. I'm sure. Yes, let's listen to that great deduction again and see if we can massage it into shape. Get all the lumps and knots out of the twisted mind of Sherlock Holmes. Very well then. Let us start once more from the beginning. Indeed. Sherlock Holmes is magnificent, logic and reasoning spectacular. Okay, yeah, we read this before. Okay, staff recruitment flyer. Oh, let's undo that. So, by Mr. Sholmes' reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job, so he could dig down to the floor. Yes, in an attempt to tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vaults of the bank across the road. But, he wouldn't get far with a broken shovel, would he? No. I think it's fair to say that his motive lie elsewhere. The question is, where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time? I don't know. I mean, maybe he wanted to get his jacket back, you know, presumably. Or maybe he just wanted to, you know, swap out his stylish hat. Let's examine it. That silk top hat is whiter than white. Only an English gentleman could hope to carry off something so bright. Yeah. But it looks so incongruous with that black overcoat, don't you think? Yeah, exactly. I said the same thing last episode. Like, it doesn't match very well with his black coat. Well, perhaps it's the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course. How about it, Mr. Naruhodo? I think you look very fetching in a white top hat. Oh, thank you, says Otto. That's very kind. Well, you know, I think it might look rather incongruous with my black university uniform, so... Yeah, that's fair, though. Let's see, is there anything hidden? Wait, let's check out that flyer, again, just to make sure. It certainly is a flyer from Mr. Windibank's shop. Let's see. Windibank wants you. Pawnbroker's assistant required. It's an eye-catching advertisement, that's for sure. I've seen the same flyer appear inside the shop, I think. Perhaps Mr. Winterbank is always in need of more staff. So Mr. Benedict came here to apply for a job. That's just too hard to believe. I don't know, is it a cane? That's proper English gentleman's cane, isn't it? Look at the beautifully polished brass on the handle. Yes, but Mr. Sholmes is right. It's not the sort of handle that you usually see on a cane. Perhaps it's the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course. Perhaps you could adopt a cane, Mr. Naruhodo. It might rather suit you. Heck, I mean, if you think so, Susato, I can wear I can use a cane. You don't wear a cane, obviously. I have a feeling you might argue with the sword around my waist. Yeah, I guess that's also fair. Wait, what's this? Scribbled writing. That looks like Gina's stupid face. Let's see. Oh! Look at all the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here. I don't believe it! What is it? What is it? Listen to what it says. Geez, you must have good eyesight to read those scribbles from, like, a few feet away. I do. Name, Gina Lestrade. Height, 5'2". Man, what a shorty. Green cap, scruffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue satchel, ragged. It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade. Goodness! There's even a sketch of her, hat and all. Although, if he showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure. Also, how'd she get that back? I thought she gave it back to Iris. Is Iris just letting her borrow it, you know, to like take it around town, you know? And look, the details of the shop have been written down here too. Winterbank's Pawnbrokery, Baker Street. Redemption deadline, 15th of April. Which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrawled on the back of that piece of paper? It's curious indeed. Let's fucking check it out. Yes. What brought you to this shop in the first place is info about Miss Lestrade. Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing and sketch on the reverse of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket, Miss Lestrade, and to Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery here. Ah. You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Mr. Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you. But that, sir, is a thinly veiled lie. It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today. By which I mean, here to Winterbank's pawnbrokery, and today, the redemption deadline of that overcoat. So, you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you have written down to arrive. And you've gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit of Miss Lestrade. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. Okay, yeah, we've read this far already. Missing Fural. I guess that's the end of a cane. What's a Fural? It's a metal cap commonly found on the end of a cane, Mr. Naruhodo. I didn't even know they normally had, metal canes. Or, I mean, they had metal caps at the ends of canes. Ah, the bit that makes a nice clacking sound on the pavement. Oh, I guess that is what that's called. Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right. It appears to be missing on this cane. But it doesn't actually look broken, does it? No, it doesn't. Though the gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as suspicious. In other words, there's some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know. Is he hiding it behind his stylish hat again? I don't know. It looks pretty normal to me. Nothing's immediately sticking out. The end of this cane is just bare wood. Yes, and according to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, this is where the shovel blade would have been attached. Couldn't it just be that the tip fell off? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I couldn't possibly speculate. Let's see. I'm sorry, this camera moves around a little bit. Initially, huh? AG. That is the what is that? The element abbreviation for silver, actually. I know it's weird, right? Like AG, silver. There's no fucking A and G. But I'm pretty sure it's a Latin thing, if I recall. So, there's that. But also, it's probably something else. That's just a random observation I had in mind. Look here, Mrs. Otto. There's some letters on the handle. Ah, yes, those must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letters of their names. So, Herlock Sholmes would be HS, you mean? That's right. And the initials on this cane, obviously. Oh, AG. Obviously, it's short for A Gangster. Why does it feel as though that's not quite right? Well, I mean, well, is there something on the back? I want to see if there's something on the back. God, this fucking camera, I can't just, turn it around super easily. Okay, well, if it's supposed to be, if canes are typically emblazoned with the, initials of names, well, this dude's name is fucking Eggert Benedict, and that ain't how you spell AG. And there ain't no A in Eggert, or Benedict for that matter. So, that's curious. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the initialing. Ah, a most astute observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Yet, in a most possessive manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. An incontrovertible contradiction indeed. Would you not agree? No, you're wrong. This cane isn't... You said before that you've had that cane for years. Gah. So don't try to tell us that you've just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park. In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. Gah. You recoil, sir? Is something wrong? Okay, yeah, we've seen this bit before. What is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle you see. Right. Let's consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking overcoat. And now a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him. But we know that he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written... Oh, sorry, well, anyway. Which suggests that everything else he's told us is untrue. So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. I don't know. How are we gonna do that? I mean, it fits pretty well on him, I think. Wait, whoa! What are you pointing out a stylish hat? I've been looking closely at this hat for some time now. Yeah, it's like, the fucking hat keeps popping up, so I'm like, I wonder if they had unique dialogue for that. And it suddenly occurred to me that a bright white top hat like that might just be the hat for me. You like it, do you? I think I do, don't I? Well, in that case, you can see this isn't something similar among Mr. Windibank's forfeited items. After we concluded our investigation, we must focus on the task at hand for the moment. Okay, at least we realized that Naruhodo actually likes that hat after all. Man, can you imagine Ryunosuke with a big old top hat? That'd be something. Oh! The seam on the shoulder is coming apart. Look! So it is! Do you know, a moment ago when Mr. Benedict was surprised by something that was said, I thought I heard him make a rather strange noise. It sounded a bit like a tiny growl. But now I think it was probably the sound of the seam ripping open. If you look closely, it does seem to be a very tight fit. The sleeves are stretched to bursting, and he wouldn't have a hope of fastening it at the front. If he were to run around in it, I'm sure the whole thing would fall apart. That I'd like to see. Sorry. So how can we make Mr. Benedict run around? She's really giving this some thought. Okay, well, I thought it fit him decently well, but clearly if it's falling apart at the seams, then,
Take that!
Yeah, no. The split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is a key to understanding this riddle, you see. Ah. Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit. Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart. My suspicions were aroused from the outset. When you so boldly lied about your name, and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. Ah! This catalogue of untruths has all been for one very specific purpose. To steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Winterbank. Ah! But what really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but I thought they said that it didn't fit Gina that well either. So like, who the fuck's jacket is it? If it's not his, and if it's not Gina's, then like, who's it supposed to be for? Well, anyway. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For you must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. Okay, well, yeah. Oh wait, no, this is new. You suggest that I, a gentleman, designed a wheeze to filch some tawdry article of pawnage? Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in the proper manner, using the watchword? had I not been the one to deposit it in the first place, how could I possibly have known the relevant details? N'est-ce pas? Random French is okay, is cool, I guess. Oh, but the watchword can't be discovered. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawned property of another. The method is revealed by the council note. Yeah, that line. The direction of the deduction must change rather dramatically now, I think. Yes, no more talk of tunneling into the sewers. Okay, but at least he's willing to adapt it and not just, like, changing it on a whim. Or you know, and not just, like, holding on to the deduction like he did last time. Clearly he's developing as a guy. Which is a pity, because it all sounded rather exciting. Anyway, you can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword. Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Windibank would never allow you to redeem the article. Or, looking at it another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Windibank would allow you to redeem that article, whether it was yours or not. So the question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? I don't fucking know. Let's see. Old lamp. This looks to be quite an old lamp. But it's obviously been well looked after, and there's oil in it too. In other words, it's still in use. Yes, it would appear so. But as for how it can be related to Mr. Benedict knowing the watchword for the pond article, I have no idea. That makes two of us. Is it a human skull? Did the human skull tell you the watchword? Let's see, what is this council notice for anyway? Baker Street Works is the title. Yes, and it does mention sewage works, as Mr. Sholmes has said. Oh! And specifically mentions that tonight's sale to confectionery shop on the corner won't be affected. Case solving first, confectionery later, Mr. Naruhodo. Ugh. Curse my overly expressive face. What about the revolver? This is Mr. Windibank's gun. Yes, loaded with only one bullet, he said. It would appear that being a pawnbroker is a very life-or-death profession. That might just be this particular establishment. Yeah, I should think. What about this? Notelet. Look at this, Mrs. Otto. Ah, it appears to be a memo that Mr. Windibank has scribbled to himself. Let's see. What does it say? Oh! Professor! Mr. Windibank must make a note of the watchwords his customers give him, right before their eyes. And an alarmingly clear script as well. Is that really alarmingly clear? I can barely read that shit. I mean, I can't read that shit, in fact. Oh dear, I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see? Well, I mean, I guess it has to be that, right? Realistically.
Take that!
The method is revealed by the notelet on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Yes. The broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword and notes down the response uttered on a notelet he has to hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I would expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker. But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages. What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in the shop before your accusation against Mr. Strayed. In all likelihood, you followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Winterbank. When the diligent broker made a note of the watchword, as is his common practice, you observed him writing the word Professor on the notelet beside the ledger. Gah. And that, sir, was the master plan you devised to steal the pawned article from the young Miss Lestrade. Master plan! Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article from this pawnbroker? Are you quite serious? For an ill-fitting overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less a worthless music box disc. But naturally, you had very good reason to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, the postcard, right. The articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets. But according to Mr. Winterbank, it isn't even worth a penny. And yet, this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why? I wonder if, perhaps, we already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo. Could we? Really? I'd better have a thorough look through all the evidence we've collected so far. Yeah, the whopping fucking two evidences that we have, right? Like, come on, pal. And say, okay, so this is probably where I could have examined the disc for the first time, and like this bit here for McGilded would have. No, I didn't mean to click on it. No. We've seen this before. Fuck. Certainly, yes, a trial I'll never forget, not least because of the tragic accident that followed it, which McGilded was killed. McGilded. But why would his name? I don't know. Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to click on it, I actually clicked on it. Present it. It's the disc, the only other evidence we have. You see, this music box disc tells us all we need to know. What's that on the back? It reads, For McGilded. Haha. Mr. Magnus McGilded, the unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his loan-mongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, are you? Or perhaps a subordinate? Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature. In fact, he was precisely the right size for that overcoat that you squeezed yourself into. Oh, so it was his overcoat. It was McGilded's overcoat, actually. Huh. Ugh. And that would explain why Gina... Well, it didn't quite fit on Gina, but it did fit on, it didn't fit on Eggert, and it didn't quite fit on Gina properly, because it wasn't either of theirs, really. Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Eggert Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today... Yeah, was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. Alright. Now the question, of course, is why, and what about that disc? And why did McGilded have a disc with his own name on it? Yeah, we fucked that deduction right up, man. It really was elementary. Well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances. Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something very troubling on my mind. Pray tell, Mrs. Otto. Well, according to what Mr. Winterbank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the code could have been redeemed, was it not? Oh, yes, ma'am, but is correct. Today will be precisely 2 months since it was first deposited. Well, today is the 15th of April, so... Wait, 2 months ago today? Wasn't that his trial? Would have been 15th of February, sir. That's right. It's all carefully recorded in my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m., I see. What? But that suggests... Yes, 15th of February. It's precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place. Wait, that's when it took... that's when the murder took place. At 10:30 in the evening, it's precisely at the time at which the terrible events were unfolding. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Suggestive is not the word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence. Wait, okay, when you're talking about the omnibus murder, are you talking about the murder of my boy thrice-fired Milverton? Not McGilded. Thrice-fired Milverton? Or are you referring to, when the omnibus was set on fire, and our other boy, Magnus, was the guy who died? Because either of those two dates are a bit sus, and a bit strange, and a bit peculiar, and a bit curious even, and, dare I say, even a bit perplexing. You are of course at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However... Holy fuck! Okay. You don't gotta fucking point a gun at me, jeez, dude. I must insist you hand over the music box discs now. It would be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box. Jesus, dude, that's a little fucking extreme. What do I do? Bro, I don't want to get the game over where I fucking die. Like, come on, man. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move, and in the episode here, because this seems like a pretty tense moment to leave off on, right? Again, I would love. Okay, I'm gonna pick. I want to see what happens. I'm gonna pick next time. I'll pick absolutely not, and see what happens. Because I feel like either way, it's probably just gonna be like the same conclusion. Like I don't think anything's gonna change. But I would love it if I just said absolutely not, and he just shot me, and then I fucking died in the middle of the pawnbrokery, and that was just it. That was my game over. That would be like fucked up, but in a funny way, you know. But anyway, yeah. Seems like our boy Eggert is a little more unscrupulous than we first thought, and he really wants that fucking music box disc. Cause you notice he said he wanted to hand over the disc. He didn't even care about the overcoat. Well, obviously he's wearing the overcoat, so I suppose he doesn't care about that. But yeah, he still wants a disc. So yeah, that's weird. Very strange, very weird, very odd, and peculiar. And I think we will dig into it more next time. But until then, I will see you where I see you.